Turn that off. It's time for No Pad Sports Talk. Stay tuned as two brothers bring you the latest from your Michigan teams and beyond in hockey, baseball, football, and more. Let's get started. Here are your hosts, JD and Steve.
Welcome to yet another edition of No Pad Sports Talk. I am one of your hosts, JD.
And I'm Steve, and today it is Friday, October 6th, and we are here to talk our Lions pregame, a couple of days late.
Yep,
it's been been a crazy week.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but we got a Lions pregame to talk about. There's, obviously a big game against Carolina coming up. Lions can extend their lead in the NFC North. And I don't know. I mean, we'll kind of get into it, but there's some, before we kind of get into that, unfortunately, from what I heard, Amon-Ra St. Brown did not practice today, being Friday, and he's questionable for the game.
Actually, he's listed as doubtful, brother.
Oh, doubtful. Okay, well, my fault then.
And wow. Brian Branch is listed as out.
Well, I could say this, though, right? If there's one game you kind of want your players to kind of get some extra rest, it's going to be against Carolina. Now, Carolina's probably Carolina's a very talented, winless team, especially on defense, but nonetheless, if you're going to have some of your stars sit out a game, I would rather it be this game.
I'm trying not to oversimplify or feel too confident about this game, but it's almost like a bye week for me.
Oh, okay. I'm not there yet with it, but
that's how I feel about where the Panthers currently are. I don't know. They're working on a bunch of stuff. They're a young team, and I don't want to take anything away from the talent that they have on the team, but I agree with you when it comes to some of our star players missing the game. This is the game to miss.
Yeah, definitely the game, Look, the Panthers still have a good defense. It's mainly their offense that they're having trouble getting going. That's just because Bryce Young has not looked very good in his rookie season. Yeah. The defense is still pretty good, though. I mean, they got a good pass rush and a pretty good run defense. So I don't want to overlook them. Like I said, they're a good winless team.
I think the thing with Bryce Young that people need to still understand is that he had a knee injury, or it was a knee injury, right? I mean, he missed some time at Alabama. He didn't throw at the combine. I don't know it was some kind of injury. So I just think he's a little out of, I don't want to say out of shape, but I think he's still trying to figure it out. So I don't want to be down on him because of what he did at Alabama. I think he's, I think at some point he could be a good quarterback. When you're comparing him to the rookie class that came out, C.J. Stroud is like head and shoulders above all of them. And I hate saying that because he's an Ohio State quarterback, but I mean, he is. Credit where credit is due.
Right, for sure.
And, Anthony Richardson doesn't necessarily suck. I just wasn't sure he was going to be ready for the speed of the game, and he was much more prepared than I was expecting him to be.
Me too. Absolutely. He does look a lot better than what I expected. I mean, and that was mainly because he's very talented, and I think we both knew that going into the draft, but it was due to he did not have very many snaps behind center in college, right?
Correct.
You just think that it might have just taken him a little bit longer, but I saw that one play, in his last game where against the Rams, where the defensive line was just crashing down on him. Like he had a size, like an area smaller than that of a telephone booth to throw a ball, and he threw it like 40 yards down the field on a dime. Like it was very impressive.
Right. So, my hat's off to the coaching staff there that have coached him up. The work that he put in the offseason, because there was some questioning whether or not he was going to go be a rap star.
Yeah.
So, I'm good for him. I'm glad, that he's playing above my expectations. We'll just go that way.
Yep, me too. Look, excuse me. Like, the Panthers have been struggling, and I know right now, Lions are a 10-point favorite over the Panthers, and a big piece of that's going to be because of their defense. Again, we talked about the Carolina's offense has not been very good, and that goes for both running the ball as well as passing. It just has not been good, and Detroit's run defense I think is like 4th in the league right now. So I mean that is very impressive. I think I think I mute there, brother, if you didn't see that because nothing's coming through. And then
No, yeah, yep.
Okay, and then on top of that, with the passing part of the ball, right? Like I guess Bryce Young's not look good at all. We'll see. We might get Mosley back, but lose Branch. So I don't know. Maybe it might be kind of a wash.
Absolutely right. We're a little thin in the secondary again. And we're only at week 5. So.
But look, I mean, looking ahead, Tampa Bay is going to be a big game. They're 3-1 right now, and they're looking pretty good.
Yep.
So like, that's the game we need everybody back for, right? So hopefully we can get Brian Branch, Amon-Ra St. Brown healthy, and come back for Tampa Bay, and hopefully the other players can squeeze out a win. And hey, Jameson Williams is back too, so maybe he can make some plays happen where Amon-Ra St. Brown would have been, the guy.
Right. But yeah, that Tampa Bay game, that receiving core is still stout. Baker Mayfield's looking, pretty good with the tools that he has around him. So, being his first year there in that system, it's awesome to see how he's picked up and the relationship that he's built with that team already. So, I wouldn't not look down at them, but here early on they've looked really good, especially Mike Evans. Definitely we gotta get somebody who's gonna be able to go one-on-one with him, or they're gonna have to double team him. We're gonna have to figure it out, but we can't take the defensive pass interference penalties that we've been taking. So.
Oh yeah. Look, the ultimately, the coming into this game, like we said before, right? Like, I don't think their game plan is going to have to change much on defense or on offense. Rather, they're going to run the ball. Panthers don't have, statistically, they don't have a very good run defense. I think they're actually are capable of playing better than what they have been. I know it might sound silly saying that their run defense might be pretty decent when they're ranked 32nd, literally last, but you have to look at some of the teams they played against. Kind of ate them up. Like with the Falcons and stuff like that. But ultimately, I think that they're capable of playing better, but I think nonetheless the Lions' run offense is better than the run defense, and that's where the game's going to have to be won at for the Lions to walk away with a W here.
Yeah. So speaking of that, right? You got Taylor Decker, Vitae, both questionable for the Sunday's game. Frank Ragnow did not practice. It looks like they might have just been resting him because of his toe. So it's important that we really get him and that Taylor Decker plays so that Sewell doesn't have to flip sides. Right?
Yep.
So, but you're talking about 3 big pieces right there in Decker, Vitae, and Ragnow that are working through some stuff right now. So if they all play, I think we can see 150, 200 yards rushing.
I think that's possible. Montgomery looked so impressive. And and like we said before, you got to feed the hot hand. If Montgomery's going to be the hot hand, give him the ball. And obviously, just like everyone else, I think that, we all, want to see Jahmyr Gibbs get more involved. Something was interesting that came out with Austin Eckler, of the Chargers there, right? Like he was saying that he was tipping his runs. And that's what he thinks he hasn't been that effective, is because he was tipping his runs pre-snap. And Gibbs just needs to do a better job of being more neutral before the play, and he thinks he's gonna do a lot better that way. So, I don't know, Austin Eckler, he's obviously, you got to have a lot of respect for the guy, and if he's saying that Gibbs is tipping it, then I have to go with it. Gibbs is tipping it.
Yeah, I mean, if he's able to look at tape and say, okay, hey, this is going to be a run because I can see he's leaning, right, instead of being more upright, or, he talked about him coming through the hole, and he's trying to hit the hole instead of kind of letting the hole develop, right, kind of taking an extra step to that left or to that right and wait for that opening to be there and then cut back in. So we did talk a little bit about that as well. But he also said, he is explosive, right? So he has shown that he's that. So he had a lot of nice things to say about him. He just says you could tell he was a rookie. That he is now playing with high level athletes. Where when he was at Alabama or, even at Georgia Tech, some of the teams, they weren't all, you don't get 32 teams that play at that level.
Right.
So, that just comes with time, and you develop that, and, he made it sound like he thinks that you'll see that improvement throughout the season.
And I'd have to agree with him. I do think you will.
Yeah.
A lot of it just comes with just, touches and practice and overall just experience. And Gibbs is going to get that. So
absolutely, and he didn't get a lot of handoff, touch the ball a lot in preseason. So these first 4 games that he's played, to me, that's been his trial by fire, his preseason. He has shown that he can be a primary back, right? In the week that Montgomery wasn't there. Yeah, because Montgomery didn't play, and he had to come out and he had to step up his game. So, bottom line, I think the ability is there, and I'm gonna, defer to what Eckler said, and just he's a rookie, and we're gonna let him work through, and he'll start seeing holes differently, and know when to make a move and when not to.
So, typically when we talk about the Lions, we talk about who we think is going to be, the defensive player of the game, offensive player of the game, MVP, whatever, right? And our final predictions of the score and everything else. So, but we were talking earlier today about how good are the Lions really? Like, if you had to rank the teams, so-called power rankings, like where would they rank in our power rankings? And sometimes it's really hard to rank, one team above another, because quite frankly a lot of times they're really equal and it's just any given Sunday. So instead of doing like a 1 through 32 ranking, my brother and I, we did a tier ranking system. So it starts with S tier being the top tier, that A being the second tier, B being the third tier, etc., and it goes 6 tiers total and goes down to the worst tier being F. So we just kind of want to go through our tier list and let you guys know what we think as far as the NFL goes and where we rank the Lions at in these tiers. So now we don't know each other's lists. We made them and didn't share them with each other. So with that being said, we're going to start revealing them now to each other for the first time. So, okay. 32 teams, and typically B and C is the middle tier. So the way you would normally think is there'd be more average teams than there are top teams or bottom teams. So you kind of expect to have a lot more in the B and C tiers than anywhere else. But so Steve, top tier, S tier. Before we reveal the teams, how many teams do you have in S tier?
I have 3.
You have 3. Okay, I have 4.
Okay.
Okay. So since I have one more than you, who are your 3 teams?
I have San Francisco, the Eagles, and Buffalo.
I kind of figured that's where you're going to go with it. I still stuck the Chiefs in S tier as well. They haven't been that impressive. I know that. Mahomes hasn't looked like the Mahomes of old either. But I still have, I don't know. I still have a lot of confidence in the Chiefs, I guess, as being one of those premier teams.
Well, they've been there, right? So, like, they know what it takes to win championships. They know what it takes to get to the, it's a whole season. It's 17 games. It's not, 4. So, but yeah, you're going to be surprised at where I put them. So.
Okay, now I'm really anxious to hear this. All right, so I actually have one additional team than you. Let's go to the tier A. How many teams you got in A?
Okay, I put 2.
I put 4. So
okay, I had 4 teams there, and then last second I was like, I moved them, and so no, I have 2 teams.
I got 4, but I struggled with one team. I wasn't really sure where I was going to put this one team, but I ended up sticking them in A. Yep. So I kind of went back and forth. But who are your 2 teams in A?
I have the Dolphins and the Cowboys. And trust me, putting the Cowboys right there was a little painful as a Washington fan. But, I think they're deserving of being right there.
I also had the Dolphins and the Cowboys in A tier. The one team that I was struggling with was the Seahawks. I really, really did not want to put the Seahawks in that A tier. But, I mean, look, they beat up on the Giants, and the Giants really hasn't been that good. They beat the Lions, even though we can all understand like what happened with the Lions team, and we can talk about that forever. But like Seahawks has looked good. Like I can't help it. Like I'm not a big fan of Geno Smith still, but I have to I had to put him up there because my 4th team is the Lions. I think the Lions are in that tier overall. Like and when we look at tiers B, C, etc., I think that it's fair to say that, at least in my belief, that the 4 teams I put in the A tier are all better than the teams I put in B tier. So that's kind of why I did that.
So, okay. Yep. And I agree with that, right? It's not when I first started putting teams up there, I had both the Chiefs and the Lions in A. So, and I had the Lions.
The Chiefs, yeah.
No, I haven't.
All right. So the B tier, how many teams you got there?
7.
I got 10.
Okay.
All right. So who's in your B tier then?
All right. I'm starting with the Lions.
All right.
Because I have the Lions and the Chiefs are the top 2 in that tier for me, and they're on the cusp of A. And I think the Chiefs are just battling some stuff right now, trying to figure out the new offense. With an offensive coordinator there and trying to, go back to doing what the Chiefs do. And then I have the Ravens because Lamar Jackson seems to be playing like the Lamar Jackson of old.
Okay.
I have the Bucks because, they're playing really well. And I have the Houston Texans. And while they're at 2-2, they have a lot of young pieces there. I want to say if they're not the youngest roster, They're like they're top 3 youngest rosters. So I have them there. And then I have the Seahawks, followed by the Green Bay Packers.
Wow. We actually have quite a few teams that are similar. All right. I got the Rams there. I've been impressed that the Rams are able to do what they have done without Cooper Kupp. So I put them in the B tier. Jacksonville Jaguars, I got them there. Again, they're kind of like a younger team, good defense, and the offense looks like it's starting to come around again. I also have the Houston Texans in there, mainly because of C.J. Stroud and the young pieces that you already mentioned. I as we said in the last podcast, C.J. Stroud won us over. Us being Michigan fans and the Ohio State curse on quarterbacks, but C.J. Stroud he blew us away. Anyway, so, but yeah, I got C.J. Stroud. I love him. So, I got Texans up there. I also got the Packers up there. I got the Ravens up there as well. And the Bucks up there. So, like I said, we got a lot of the same teams. Now, these 4 teams, I can readily admit that you can make a case that they belong in C tier. But the way I'm going to justify these is if I look at the C tier teams, I think these teams are clearly better than the C tier teams, and that's why I couldn't put them in the same tier ranking, and I just felt that they deserved to be in the next tier just because it just didn't make sense to put them in C tier to me. All right, so those teams are the Chargers, the Steelers, the Saints, and the Colts. I like the Colts offense. The Colts, seem to score some points. But their defense have been letting them down, So if they can fix that, I think they'll be a much better team. But anyway, those are the rankings there for me. And the justifications there. So
cool.
I'm expecting you to have a lot of C teams here. So how many C teams do you have?
I have 7.
I have 5. So, okay, here's the 5 I got then. I start off with the Falcons. Browns. I think the Browns are suffering from not having a quarterback like they do kind of every year. The Bengals, they're struggling mightily in offense. But I think that, again, they could turn it around potentially. So I put the Bengals in C. I put the Commanders also in C, but I think you can make a case that they're a D team based on a couple of their last games. But I like their defense. I'm still kind of a Sam Howell believer. He's going through some growing pains right now, and that's the only reason why I put him in C. But like I said, I'd have no problem with someone putting him in D because they haven't looked great. And I put the Titans in there too, and for C.
Okay. So I have the Rams. They're my top C team, and I've liked what I've seen. The defense is still good. The offense with the young players that they've got, those young receivers, they're just getting it done. You almost forget who Cooper Kupp is when you have a Puka Nacua. Breaking rookie receiving records every week with the number of catches that he gets. It was great to see him get his first touchdown last weekend. So,
it was.
Have all those catches and just not getting your first touchdown. So I got the Jaguars. I like the team. I like the offense. I was hoping to see something better than what I've seen so far. It's like, I guess it's like with any team, but with the Jaguars, I think you get the tale of 2 teams. And there's
that's fair.
The team that the team that comes out here and is ready to kick butt, and then the other one. Then I got the Chargers and the Colts. I thought the Chargers offense would be a little bit better than where they're at. And, the Colts, I put them, middle of the pack right here just because, they're working on stuff too. But I got the Vikings, the Steelers, and the Browns cleaning up my list here.
Ooh, okay.
So that's That's where I'm at with my
surprises
C
me
list.
having Vikings in the C list. That does surprise me. I mean, being only having won one game so far and having them in the C range, that surprised me.
Yeah. I obviously they're better than what their record is, I think.
Okay. D tier then. How many teams you got in D?
I got 8 teams here.
I got 7. So I have. This is probably the most controversial one. Is I got the Panthers in D. I do think they're better than what the record shows, and I think they're actually better than a couple of the F teams I have listed. But that's why I put them in D. I got the Bears. I got the Vikings. I got the Broncos. And again, I know you can make a case the Broncos should be in the F tier, but I don't know. I just felt that the teams in the F tier are just so bad that it's hard for me to put the Broncos in there too. The Raiders, the Patriots, and the Giants.
Okay. So again, we got some of the similar teams. But I got the Commanders, the Saints, Tennessee, Arizona.
Wow, Tennessee's are 2-2, and you got them down there. Okay.
Yeah.
And the Saints are also 2-2. All right.
Yep. The Falcons, the Raiders, Patriots, and the Broncos.
Wow. A couple of those teams actually surprised me that you have them down, so low, being 2-2 and stuff.
Yeah. Again, it's like with the Vikings. So I say I think they're better than their record. I don't know that these guys. Some of those teams were playing in weak divisions, and the AFC South and NFC South. Right.
That's fair.
And
that's fair.
So that's kind of where I was kind of my overall view.
So F tier. How many teams you got there?
I have 5 teams here.
Wow, I got 2.
Yep,
I got 2.
So
again, I only put 2 teams down here just because, like I said, they're so bad that I just these are the bottom of the NFL, and I couldn't justify anyone else personally. I couldn't justify anybody else being on the same level as them in just suckiness. So the 2 teams I got down here, I'm sure is no surprise, being the Cardinals and the Jets.
Okay. Yep. So I got the Bengals because they're with the talent that they have, they are not getting it done. So I don't know if it's I don't know how you can go from one year to the next year with the same players and not get better. I guess is what I'm trying to say, I guess. I got the Panthers, the Jets, of course. I got the Giants and the Bears. So, again, with the Bears, Justin Fields is having his up and down day. Like, he had a good game yesterday, but he was still only through 50%. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you had 3 touchdowns, but you had a 50% completion rate. It just, I don't know. That just doesn't work for me. So those were my 5 teams down there. The Jets, obviously, they had such high hopes. Everyone did, right?
Yep.
And their golden boy gets hurt. Replays into this end of the year. And, thing is, yeah, it's just, it's not going to get any better for the Jets. And I honestly think they need to start looking elsewhere for a quarterback, because I don't think they have anybody on the team that's going to be able to help them not lose games, right? Like they have to be able to help out their defense, because their defense isn't. They have a good defense, and you need to help them out by scoring some points early, so that they're not wore out at the end of games. And
I agree. Yep.
So, yeah, Zach Wilson has shown some things, but it's just it's not. He's not consistent. he's not playing like it's his to keep. It's not his. You know what I mean?
I mean, I agree with you, but that game against the Chiefs, I think, definitely gave the Jets fans some hope, right? I mean, throwing for 245 and 2 touchdowns, no picks. He finally looked like, he could play in the league.
Correct. But again, all of that came late, right? That was all in the second half. Almost all of that, right? So they're just a bad team, and maybe the Panthers don't really deserve to be an F, but that's where I put them. Even with the Bengals, if you look at their talent, they are not an F team.
See, and that's why. Okay, this is the only part I'm going to push back on you a little bit, just a little bit. All right. Because some other teams you raised up, and you were saying that they're better than what their records show with the talent that's on their team. But with the Bengals, their talent's better than what their record shows and how they're playing.
I know.
And instead of putting them where higher up on the list, you put them very, very, very bottom.
Yep.
So
and to me, that's just based on the play that I've seen. While the talent is better, they're losing those games, and they're losing them for a reason. Right? It's not. They're playing bad, and that's just how it is.
Okay.
Yep.
So, anyway, for all those listening out there, if you listen to our tier list, let us know what you think. We'll probably be doing a tier list, not every week, but, throughout the week, if you guys like the segment. Anyways, so let's go back to the Lions. We got with about 32 minutes in. Typically, what we end up doing is we end up giving you, like I said, our players of the offense, defense, final score predictions, that kind of stuff. So, you want to take it first there, brother? Tell us who you think.
I am going to defer to you this time so I don't take your players.
Well, there's no Brian Branch to take, so...
There is not a Brian Branch to take.
All right. Look, I'm going to kind of go easy on this one again. With the offensive line of the Panthers, I think Aiden Hutchinson's going to have a big game again. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick. I know I picked him last game, but I'm going to pick him again this game. Aiden Hutchinson, defensive player of the game for the Lions. 2 sacks, a tackle for a loss, and I'll even give him a batted pass this game. Because I think they're going to be trying to do some screen passes to try to keep the defensive line from just knocking Bryce Young all over the place. And I think Aiden Hutchinson's going to read it and back into coverage and be able to bat a ball down. So I'll give him pass defense too.
Okay. So on defense, I am going to go with Alex Anzalone.
He's been hot. Okay.
He has played the run and the pass very well, and I think that the addition of Jack Campbell, having them play side by side, has allowed him to be a little more loose in watching what they're doing. So I'm going with Alex Anzalone. I think he gets a pick, and he'll lead the team in tackles.
Oh, okay. Okay, I can definitely see the lead in tackles part. Absolutely.
Yep.
Offensively, I think it'd be great if Jamison Williams comes out and just balls his first game back. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to, just like they're kind of doing with Jahmyr Gibbs, they're going to, keep him on the field for just a few plays here and there.
Yep.
And I think I never like picking the quarterback because that's too easy, even though I think Jared Goff's going to have a big game. So I'm actually going to go with Josh Reynolds. With Amon-Ra St. Brown out, I think that Josh Reynolds is going to step up, and I think he's going to go for over 100 yards for the first time. And I don't know the last time he went over 100 yards, but I think he'll have over 100 yards receiving this game.
Well, you took my guy, which is I deferred.
Boom! Finally.
So I know how that feels now, right? But at that point, I think Sam Laporta is going to be their big guy, right?
That's who I thought you were going to go with, anyways.
Yep. Well, I honestly thought about Khalif Raymond because he is, shown at times. While he's got 11 receptions, he's got 119 yards, right? We're talking, almost 15 yards a catch for him. So, I honestly thought, with them, Josh Reynolds is Khalif Raymond because it's just what they're doing. But I'm gonna take the even easier one and go with Sam Laporta. I think this week is the week he gets 100 yards.
Okay.
And it could be one of those 10 receptions for 100 yards. That's what I'm going to say.
Now watch it be Jahmyr Gibbs in one of the few games I have not even considered him.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, there's been times I've thought about taking Jahmyr Gibbs. I think I even did, like, I think for 2 weeks I took him.
2 weeks.
And nothing's happened. So, yeah, I'm not even considering him until he starts getting more touches. I'm not getting. But anyways,
Yep.
But it'd be interesting if he has over 100 combined yards. I'd love to see it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
All right. Final score prediction.
Lions 30. Panthers 10.
I think in this game you're going to see a lot of ball control on the Lions team. A lot of long drives that eats up a lot of clock. And because of that, I don't think you're going to see, personally, I don't think we're going to see 30 points on the board. I think that, like I said, the just playing a lot of ball control on offense. So, not that they couldn't put up points. Like I said, I just think that they're not going to. I could be shocked if, Jahmyr Gibbs or Jameson Williams, breaks one, for 70 yards and that just kind of opens the floodgates. But I'm going to be a little more conservative. I think that the Panthers are going to score 10 points. I'll agree with you on that, but I'll go with 24 for the Lions.
All right. Well, here's where my extra 6 points are coming from. The Lions will score a special teams touchdown.
Oh.
Ah. Throwing that out there.
Kick return? Which one? What are we talking about here?
I don't know if I'll call it, I'm going to say punt return because I think the Panthers are going to be punting the ball a lot.
That's fair. Okay. Well, that's interesting.
It'll be a special teams touchdown by the Lions on Sunday.
I thought you were going to go with a defensive touchdown when you started saying it. I thought that's where you were going to go.
Yeah. No, I'm going even low percentage.
Yeah, you are. And if it happens, hey, I expect you to be on the next show like, I told you. Yeah.
It'll be Khalif Raymond. And that's how he'll get his touchdown tomorrow or Sunday.
All right.
There you go.
Right.
Nobody has called that.
No?
Nobody.
No?
Nobody. I've called it.
I'd love to see it. Look, I would love for the Lions to come out and just totally dismantle the Panthers. Like we're talking 56-3 or something, right? Just blow them completely out.
Yep.
I'd love it if offense, defense, and special teams all score touchdowns. I just have a complete game victory because we haven't really seen 4 quarters complete game yet.
No, we haven't. And to have a touchdown at all 3 phases, that's a big game.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not calling it. I'm not predicting it. I'm just saying I'd love to see it.
It would definitely. Everyone, I think everybody who's a Lions fan would love to see that. But I think that's why it's gonna the score is going to look a little more lopsided. The Panthers are going to be playing behind the sticks. And, that's why I think Anzalone's going to get an interception instead of a sack, because he's going to be playing coverage. But yeah.
Let's talk about Bryce Harper real quick before we end it. Just real quick. What do you think Bryce Harper is going to end up with stat-wise? Do you think he's going to have any touchdowns?
You mean Bryce Young? You mean Bryce Young, right?
What'd I say?
You said Bryce Harper. Yeah.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
I got baseball on the mind, all right? I can't help it.
Wrong sport.
Wrong sport. Playoff baseball, all right?
Yeah, it is playoff baseball.
Young.
So
thanks for the correction, Bryce Young.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Bryce Young's going to throw two interceptions. He'll have the one touchdown, and I think it'll be a rushing touchdown by him. So I think he'll probably be about 58% completion for about 220 yards.
Oh, okay. I was going to say
our secondary is a little light, and I just think because of that, they're going to have that opportunity to do that. But I'm going to give him 220.
I'm only going to give him 167.
Okay.
I think that the pass rush is going to be too much, and I just think that he's just not going to feel comfortable back there, and he's making some bad throws. So I can agree with the 2 picks. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I don't think he's going to get a touchdown pass. But 2 picks, like 167. I think that's pretty much where he's going to be at. I'd even say, I even call it at 50%. I don't even think he's going to be much over at that at all.
Yeah. Like I said, his touchdown for me is actually going to be a rushing touchdown. It won't be a passing touchdown.
Yeah.
So he'll be, because of the pass rush, that's where I think, he may even be their leading rusher.
I can see that happening.
Yeah, he's going to be moving for his life. And that's where Alex Anzalone and is just going to smash him.
I just want to bring up real quick too that we're looking to do a Detroit Tigers end of the season episode.
We are.
We haven't got around to that yet. We got to talk about Miggy. That's like I said. That's why I had Bryce Harper and baseball on the mind, right? But we got to talk about that. Got to talk about some of the gains, some of our predictions. Who is closest to the predictions and all the predictions that we made at the start of the season, and so look forward to that if you're a baseball fan. We definitely want to get that out there. And
it is playoff season, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is my precursor. We saw the Tampa Bay Rays go 13-0 and win 99 games and get swept in the wild card. So there you go.
I'm not surprised by that actually, but and we got some big news as well with the Dodgers pitcher. Did you see that news about the Dodgers pitcher?
I did not.
And for some reason, I don't know. Oh, Trevor Bauer, right? So, for those that don't know, Trevor Bauer, a couple years ago, was accused of some really heinous things by a woman, and MLB, without him having gone through any sort of trials or anything like that, MLB, because they're a private entity, had the right, and they basically suspended him. And he's been in, the Japanese Baseball League ever since. Nippon Professional Baseball is what it's called. Just recently, there's been a big news about everything that kind of happened, and looks like it was all premeditated and that he was targeted by her. I won't really go into details. You can go ahead and read about it if you want to. But I want to bring this up because we brought up the Rays and the whole, Wander Franco thing kind of happened. And, so whereas it looked really, really, really bad because of the pictures, the testimony, and everything else that kind of happened, going against Trevor Bauer, even though he's always, held his innocence, and it looks really bad for Wander Franco too. So I just want to, quick just want to say, again, that's why everybody should be, innocent until proven guilty because of situations like
Correct.
this where it looked really bad for Trevor Bauer and it ended up being, at least as of right now, like he was completely innocent of everything. So,
Yeah.
even though it looks bad, we'll see what happens. And obviously, if he's guilty, he's guilty. Throw the book at him. No defense there. But I just want to reserve judgment until we know.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, that's yeah. I'm looking at some of the articles now, and as I'm looking at them, like, that's just, like, I don't know. If all of that comes out and it's exactly the way it appears to be, she should be charged too. But
Agreed. That ruined his career.
Yeah.
But anyway, that being said, I didn't mean to take in that direction, but sometimes it's the way our minds work, and I just
Yeah.
But join us for our baseball episode later on when we have it. We do appreciate everybody listening and staying to the end. Like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Share it. We'd appreciate it. Anything helps. And we appreciate you listening.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening to No Pads Sports Talk. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, help spread the word by leaving a rating and review wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow us on social media at No Pads Sports Talk.